Also, video of the program will be posted on that website, calendar of all the events coming up. So, a new great way to interact with the program, talking about remarks that Baltimore City Police Commissioner Daryl D'Souza made a couple days ago, with the mayor standing by his side at a rap concert downtown, where the commissioner is apologizing for the last 200 years of all the wrongdoings of the Baltimore City Police Department. The mayor standing there, and the question, ladies and gentlemen, is why? What is the end game in all this? I view everything in life, there's a destination. Keep in mind, they're booing in the beginning. Now, the reason why I think they're booing is, I don't know about you, but when I go to a show, I want to see the show. I'm not looking for a lot of political blowhards, all due respect to the mayor and the commissioner, to use that platform as a soapbox. I'll give you another example. Had the privilege of going to the U2 concert a couple years ago at M&T Bank Stadium, the 360 tour. First half of the show, amazing. Second half, Bono gets off on his soapbox. I think he's sincere in, his position. That's not why I'm here. Same reason why the individuals that were listening to this hip-hop concert, they weren't there for the mayor and the commissioner, Tyrone, to use this as a platform. And the boos, look, I am sorry. We are going right back to where we were 3 years ago. Right back to where we were 3 years ago. And Jamal Bryant is probably salivating in his $4 million home and his $500,000 Bentley going, man, I love you, D'Souza.
He's looking at 2019 Bentleys because of this. But what you saw with the boos, that was the same reaction that the NFL fans had to the whole kneeling thing. Don't interfere with my entertainment. I'm just here to see the show.
I need you to do me a favor. Don't talk NFL. Can you and I jump into that in the 7 o'clock hour? Because I got some big, I got some big news on the Ravens.
Okay.
Okay. By the way, the Ravens are not a broadcast partner of the show anymore, so I get to actually say what I want to say about the Baltimore Ravens. We'll get to that, okay, in about a half hour. Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right.
Let me just give you the end game. You said what's the end game for D'Souza and doing all this? Well, D'Souza's proven to be a pretty ambitious guy. He's risen through the ranks, as you said, and I think the end game is higher political office. I think that's what he's looking at, and he thinks if he comes out on this apology tour, that that's kind of the way to get to that.
Here's the problem: the mayor can't fire this guy in the next year or two. She can't. She's stuck with him.
Right.
Stuck with him.
Yeah.
Okay. You could have sandbagged. I think everybody saw, including Commissioner Davis himself, everybody saw that firing happening.
Sure.
It didn't have to happen 4 months ago. Could have sandbagged that. What I do not understand here is when you listen to Daryl D'Souza, his press conference where he was introducing himself to the public for the first time, because a lot of people have, if you weren't inside baseball, you didn't know who the gentleman was.
Yeah.
He pretty much laid out, which I thought was very confusing, he pretty much laid out the exact same strategy that Kevin Davis had. Same thing. We're going to go after the trigger pullers. We are going to prioritize our resources. Kevin Davis wanted more money to get better technology in the cruisers, and okay, I get that. We're going to go after the bad guys. We're going to prioritize our resources. People that have warrants after their arrest when it comes to violent crimes, we're going to focus on that. And D'Souza kind of doubled down on it. So that's why I was sort of underwhelmed by Kevin Davis's replacement. Again, there's only so much of the problems in this city or any major U.S. city that you're going to be able to fix via police tactics or legislation. So I thought within his, the restraint of his powers, I thought Kevin Davis was taking the city in the right direction. And at the time, I thought the mayor was also. I'm seeing her get somewhat distracted right now.
The police are the most visible component of the criminal justice system. They're the most easily understood component.
Even more of a reason why you don't get on stage and go,
exactly.
We suck.
Exactly. But you know what? There's light at the end of the tunnel because Marilyn Mosby, who's just not a serious person, okay? You got Ivan Bates, who's challenging her.
Right.
Now, Bates is a very serious person and a very effective attorney. So hopefully the criminal, that component.
He's got some residency challenges, doesn't he?
Well, Don't they all? But
I haven't read all the books on politics, but
but look, hey, you know what? You know what? Hey, if he lives a block or two outside the city limits and is effective and is able to actually pump up the conviction rate in Baltimore, kind of like Schellenberg is able to do in Baltimore County.
Well, you got to be very careful on that, Tyrone. Here's the thing with the conviction
I'm desperate.
rate. You got to be very careful on the conviction rate. This is part of the problem that Marilyn Mosby has. She's only going after the wins.
Sure.
So there's a lot of people that are not being prosecuted because you can't check that off in the automatic win category. Sure. Whether we're talking about Stephanie Rawlings Blake, I always gave her a pass because, by the way, she never asked for the job.
Sure. But she did run again.
She did,
yeah.
but in all fairness,
that's what you're supposed to do, right?
I understand. Right. Okay, and I also think she was very, very misrepresented in her famous remarks she made on "Give them room to destroy." I don't agree with the methodology, but I understand what she was saying. Okay, let's try to contain this, and isn't it better if we can contain this to 2 blocks versus it spreading over the city? Again, appeasement never works. I've said that time and time again. But I don't think she was like, hey, to all the riders out there, rah, 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 go win one for the Gipper. Okay? I don't think that was the point she was trying to make. And Commissioner Batts was following his marching orders. But here's the thing, and this does not matter your gender, your race, your geography. People want to live in a civil society.
Absolutely.
And when they don't, which is what's not happening, unfortunately, in Baltimore right now, heads will roll, as it did with the mayor, as it did with the commissioner, and as it will with Marilyn Mosby.
Mm-hmm.
So what I don't understand is why, when you have the benefit of being able to look into, the history books and to see, the way things went under Commissioner Batts, I have no idea why D'Souza would be like, hey, you know what? Let's maximize that strategy, which is what he did at the concert, and for the mayor to be standing next to him, I just don't get it. While at the same time, she's doubling down on illegal immigration, and she's getting distracted. Look, I'm personal friends with Pugh, okay? I've had a great relationship with her. I think she has a love for the city that a mayor hasn't had going back to William Donald Schaefer. And the relationship I've had with the mayor over the years has cost me a lot of heartache. Okay? It has. But I see her getting just distracted right now. She wants to focus on affordable housing. She wants to bring business back. She was one of the first ones to extend an olive branch to Donald Trump when Larry Hogan would not, by the way. I think she's politically pragmatic. I think she is one of the smartest politicians in Baltimore City as far as going through a contract and understand what's going on. And again, above all, has a real love for the city. So I preface this whole segment with those words, Tyrone. But you can't be standing on the stage with the top cop with these remarks.
That's just the cornucopia of apologies, because it's like he's throwing everything in but the kitchen sink. I want to apologize. How the police, were they going out addicting people to crack cocaine? I mean, he's apologizing for that. I mean, this is just social justice warrior talk.
In all fairness, and I don't know D'Souza because ever since he became commissioner, the BPD's gone radio silent on me. God knows why, but they have. So I've reached out to them countless times. I've reached out to DJ Smith. I've reached out time and time and time again, and I will continue to. My part of all this is very, very, very small, but anything I can do to help, bridge the gap between the community and the police department, I want to be part of. For some reason, they're not returning the phone calls, so I don't know why. So I don't know the gentleman. I've never personally met him. Again, he is honorable. He's been, serving his community for 30 years. I'll give the guy Tyrone the benefit of the doubt and say, he's looking at this as an opportunity to try to cut bait and put all this in the rearview mirror. And I don't know. I'm assuming and try to implement his plan, whatever it is, which I still don't fully understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, again, it's social justice talk. You know, he's not in any in any position to apologize for the institution of the police department. And you know what? I'm not into apologizing for things I'm not responsible for. Okay, so why don't you have a tack where you move forward instead of this liberal ideology of constantly wanting to, readdress past issues.
And that defense, that argument has been made when it comes to race in the past. Now it's police officers that are listening to that. Those that are the boots on the ground, that are serving the city of Baltimore, that are in the cruisers, that are working around the clock, that are working the overtime because we're not able to repopulate officers with new cadets because nobody wants this job, that are saying, wait a minute, why are you blaming me for something that happened
Right.
2 centuries ago?
Right. And look, I grew up in Baltimore City, West Baltimore. I have seen the best of the police. I've seen the worst of the police.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not absolving them. Every institution, I mean, you get a group of bakers together, I'm sure you're going to get a few that are not good. But these people do have the power to detain you and to, in some cases, take your life. So I understand the gravity of it. But at the same time, I'm not looking at D'Souza as someone who needs to apologize for anything. I am looking for him to do his job, okay, going forward.
I think it's a major miscalculation. That is WCBM political contributor Tyrone Keys. I am Jimmy Mathis. Roger Stone, former Donald Trump top advisor, scheduled to join us for the Stone Zone. It is 6:40. You're listening to the Jimmy Mathis Show on Talk Radio, 680 WCBM. High pressure up over the